Swimming goldfish.
You know what? 2 things we literally have out for kids to eat?
Yeah.
Cheese sticks and goldfish.
This summer's full of excitement with hot events brought to you by PlayStation 2.
So I eat them
For the
too.
second year, 989 Sports and PlayStation 2 will start football season with a bang at NFL
I had pizza
Kickoff.
today.
Join thousands of football fans at this free event
missing
featuring
hot
the
dogs
best in
and we're
music,
fat.
sports, and gaming on September
that's
4th
next
in
week.
Washington, D.C. before the first game of the NFL season.
Hot dogs and mac and cheese.
The
Tomorrow we
PlayStation 2
get
touring
Subway.
attraction will roll into the City of Angels
I had
for
Subway
X
for
Games
lunch
9
today.
in Los Angeles, California, August 14th through the 18th. Be there to see the most exciting sports event of the year as the big
Most exciting.
skateboarding, inline, and BMX.
You think she's
compete for
Australian?
the gold. Take a break from
No,
the
just
madness
like
and experience
Wisconsin
the
or
hottest
something.
PlayStation 2 games of the summer.
Yeah, I'll check out that website. Building characters. Oh. Interesting.
So how do character designers take concepts from Sketchpad to video game? We decided to hold a make-your-own character contest where the winner would have a chance to see his or her creation immortalized in, well, pixels. Over 300 entries poured in, and our 5 judges with their backgrounds in art direction, 3D modeling, programming, and production spent an entire day going over each and every one. But when the desk cleared, it was ERAD, designed by Ron Marchigona of Bethesda, Maryland, who was the victor. In this segment, our 3D modelers will bring ERAD to polygonal life through a series of steps.
Wait, is
First
another
thing we did was we
designer?
scanned this image and brought it into Photoshop to prepare it for 3D. I took the scan and inverted it to make it easier for me to model in 3D Studio. I started with the leg, and essentially what I did was I took a box
Okay.
and I made it transparent enough so I could see the lines behind the box. By
Like an
simply
arm
pushing and
flattened.
pulling vertices, I'm able
You
to
traced it.
manipulate the box and make a totally new shape. Vertices are basically points in 3D that actually trace the outline of polygons, and polygons are the big red and gray filling between vertices. And then we do the same thing with the other segments. All the segments had a unique model made from a simple box, and as you can see, we have a completed leg. We hide the
Yeah, I can do that.
background so we can see what it looks like with all of its polygons. And we see that, yeah, it looks a lot like the
Yeah.
drawing.
Oh,
And then
that's
I went
awesome.
ahead and started defining more of the shape of the actual head based on the background drawing here. I basically just started with a simple box like before and started to make the front of the nose by pushing and pulling vertices.
This is pretty
I
amazing.
started making the faces for the cockpit, and I did a simple extrusion of the faces. And as you can see, they grow to give them volume and depth.
Have you not done this before?
And then
Yeah.
I did a little bevel,
That's
Not that hard.
why it's so
just so
much.
it's got some roundness
so
to
good-
it.
So much
Then I started working on the turrets by simply doing the same
You know what
thing
I'm
I did
saying?
with the cockpit,
Tedious.
which was taking this initial
But, like,
shape
the
here
amount of, like,
and just
Skill
extruding
it takes too, right?
and rotating to build basically.
You could do this. He's just tracing it.
And then I created the joints.
I'd
for the
argue,
legs to fit, and that way the
just
the
like
leg will have
drawing
something
it,
to fit
designing
in.
it's a lot
And if we
harder.
move the
I'd be very
dragon,
curious to see you draw your
where
3D
this
model this
drawing
alien
shows-
thing and then compare it to his
it's
result.
pretty darn close.
I could do it.
And
Okay.
here we have the finished head.
I will pay for your.
And as you can see, without smoothing groups.
I guess Maya's probably free
The
or
model
whatever,
looks
right?
kind of marshmallowy and soft, and we don't want him to be
I think,
soft. We want him to be
Maya
really
still
hard
exists.
Patrick is our-
skinned, armored
He's our
vehicle
probably resident
that's allowed
expert
to
on that
take
whole
some
thing.
damage as well as give
Blender.
it. So we added smoothing
Yeah,
groups to
Blender.
it.
That was what I was thinking of.
We built the rest of the dragon the same way we built the head and the legs, simply by building boxes, pulling and pushing vertices, and turning and rotating edges and scaling. Now the nice thing was that the legs were really similar to each other. So what we did was we simply just copied them and we mirrored them to the other side. We did the same thing with the wings, and here we have the finished model without textures. Here he is in wireframe mode. Nice, pretty clean model. After the model's been built, we start to texture it. So in order to make them look real and used, I had to go ahead and add combat scoring like carbon from explosions and battle scars and grease in the joints and random dirt details. This is the final textured version, and it's ready to be animated. You'll notice that the wings aren't filled in because the programmers fill them in with programmatic polys that are able to slide and bend and stretch according to the animation of the bones of the wing. Now that we have our initial position, we begin to create keys for each skeletal joint. Here are the keys that I've created, and here is the in-betweens that the computer created for me. Nice fluid animation. So the process from drawing through animation took close to 60 hours to complete. Here's ERAD with his final animations, ready to be exported to the programmer.
So my job is to take the max file once it's complete and export it and generate some code that does some special purpose animation that enables us to control the final model once it's over on the PlayStation side.
Guy kind of sounds like
now
Justin.
we can control it just like we would a character in a game.
Justin
For
who?
example, I can move the camera around and look at it from different angles. And
the
then
one
I'll
from
press
this
X
Discord.
again, and it will land back on its little pedestal there. Something else that we've added in is the ability to fire the weapons and have some sound effects. So those are the kind of details.
Is this
that
a
we
real
add
game
in
or just like
after
a
the fact
school thing? School
that
project?
sort of bring a model to life.
There you have it.
Seems
Start
like
with
just
any
an
idea,
example
turn
type
it into
thing.
vertices, triangles, and
This guy works for
textures,
Toys
then
for
move
Bob
it using
now.
intense mathematical computation. You can go anywhere you
What the
want.
fuck is that?
The video game company.
Our time spent building ERAD was so much
Hey,
fun, we
Skylanders?
decided to build a few more of the runner-up designs from the contest.
Oh, Crash
do you think?
Bandicoot, Spyro.
Crazy.
This is the development world of PlayStation 2. Our series, Dev 101, has shown you 4 ways in the last 4 issues to get a taste of it. Where you go from here is up to you. But as you
Call of
know,
Duties,
there's a
all
world
of
of other gamers out there hungry for the next great title, and it might just come from you.
Maybe.
We'll say that series is pretty cool. Right up there with Celebrity Gamer.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Whoa, take a step back.
Miss Celebrity Gamer.
Lifelike Productions.
I missed the CG intro of like a hot girl on the beach or something being like, hey, welcome to this.
Yeah. They got lazy.
Yeah. They got less horny. They weren't horny enough.
Yeah. Salt Dragon. Yeah, I can make that a Salt Dragon.
Oh.
I could probably do it in 30 hours. Not
Playable.
60.
Oh. Answers that question. It's a bug that is a minigun?
So some kid just like entered a contest, and now his thing's in a OPM Demo Disc?
They said he works for Bethesda. So like,
Oh,
it
okay. Interesting.
just chose another professional.
Yeah, they...
So,
Okay.
okay.
Yeah, they said they took submissions and then the judges chose the
But
winner.
they picked the one from the professional.
Yeah, the best one because
I
it was
mean,
the
yeah, I guess
best
it's
one.
Okay, we got some honorable mentions. Fly. Yeah, this doesn't
That
look like
ass.
Bethesda.
Now we're
Story.
talking.
Look
what
at this
what
body.
stories involved?
Girl, look at that body.
Video games.
Even has the up arrow. Those proportions.
That's why my self-image is so skewed.
Yeah, exactly.
I wanted to have a big ass and huge tits.
And no waste.
Yeah.
No room for your organs.
Oh, sick.
And
In the eye.
Whoa!
It's
Oh
wild.
man.
It's wild.
This is good.
It's groovy. It's a cool way for us to play. It's the new iToy.
I don't remember the PS2 one.
People to play games and also to interact.
Sound like a turkey.
There's a wide group of people who just are intimidated by the controller, and we wanted to give them an experience. It's like interactive gaming. So we were using a camera as the
Intimidated by a
input device.
controller.
With the iToy, it's so simple and it's very intuitive. You're the controller. You don't have to delve into a big 30-page manual.
What if you're intimidated by your own body?
Move your arms around.
The idea behind it
I'm
is to have a
intimidated by my big
flexible,
boobs.
freer interface that won't replace the game controller, but it can be used for some gaming experiences that are different.
Yeah, so
How does this all work? Well, it's all
he's
on the wrist.
skeptical of what it can be used for.
USB camera and plug it into
Some
one of
stuff.
the 2 USB ports of the PlayStation 2, and there is a focusing lens you adjust.
I knew one guy that had this,
Once
and
you
he
do
never
that, you're
used
pretty
it.
much set to go. Everything
not
about
sure I
the
knew
game is
anybody
all
that
done with your hands. You wiggle your fingers away
It was
with your
just an
hand,
ornament
select
next to the
start,
TV.
and once you get that going, you go ahead and pick a game, and you just get right into it.
The motion tracking technology in the mini games basically see any movement so that the game player can interact with the graphics through his motion.
It is very sensitive, so you can even stick your finger up and you can touch something on the screen, or you can wiggle your fingers and it actually tracks a little bit of motion.
All these hand motions and finger wriggling seemed very intriguing to us, but there's a point to all this sleight of hand. We now see traditional parlor games in the new millennium.
The collection of mini games that comes with iToy were designed specifically as a social experience. They were designed to be fun to play when your friends come over and you get on camera and do funny things and you see yourself, kind of like Pictionary or charades.
It in fact encourages people to be silly and be crazy, so that you want to put on a show almost for your friends or family.
Already
that
got
are
those
watching.
Kamala sound
As long as
like.
you can move your body, you can have a blast, and your friends will have a blast watching you too.
And how do we blast off? What can we do with this new entertainment experience?
Oh, I
It's a
think I
chance
remember
for us
playing
to
this like in a
perform, compete,
Kmart or
and have a
something.
few yucks playing mini games.
But there's a whole bunch of different
That
genres that
plate spinning one
incorporated into the
specifically.
games, whether it's sports, music, fighting,
Yeah, oh, I
even
definitely
puzzle
played
elements
this.
as well.
The mini games let you move your
Did you ever go to
body
Walmart and
interact
play like
with
the
graphics
the
that
demo
are drawn
machines?
around
Yeah,
the
yeah,
video.
that's-
And the TV was always like mounted to the ceiling, and you'd have to like crank your neck up.
And there's a dance game where you have to kind of touch to make
It's almost
music
certainly where I
happen.
played this.
And there's
I don't know where they found
games.
controllers long
There's
enough to
about a
make that
dozen
run
of them
from the
that
ceiling
vary
to
from window
your
washing,
waist.
where you're moving your hands like this to wipe things from the window.
Yeah, I remember
We've got
this.
Did the McDonald's
action game.
in
Bird
the
poop
East
bonus.
Coast
Yeah, they had
Coming in from
N64s
have
and
N64 and
GameCubes.
stuff? The shitty thing about that is they had like a timer, like a 10-minute timer or something.
I don't think ours did it.
Before it like hard reset.
And you're trying to figure out, should I move my hand up
Ours
there,
did.
but on screen,
And
your hand is
you'd
showing
play,
up
you'd
in the
start
lower
Banjo-Kazooie
left
from the
corner as opposed to
beginning.
upper right.
You get like a quarter of the way through
This
the
is the chance to
tutorial,
make
and the whole
stars
thing would
or fools of
reset.
ourselves. And we get to be on TV. Sort of.
The coolest thing about iToy really is the fact that you actually become part of the game now. You see yourself in the game,
video games.
on the screen, and you physically interact with it now. You're not limited to controlling a character in the game. You are the star of the game.
I think that's really the neat thing, is actually kind of seeing yourself interact with the graphics. It kind of gives you this movie special effect.
And others can see you too. With the iToy USB camera, you can create and record video messages that are played back through your PlayStation 2 gaming console.
Right now, you can actually record up to
Why would
60
you ever
seconds
do
of video
this?
messaging for your friends and family. Leave it for them. They can come home and
Hey,
turn
Dad,
it
I
on
left you a
and
message
say,
on the
"Oh, wait, there's a message
PS2.
for me."
There's a message for you from your mom. She wants you to come over for dinner.
The virtual
If you're
nature
hearing,
is breaking
you want
all
to
around
come
us.
for dinner
hearing
24 hours.
Technology was initially
I am
in the
dead.
United States. The game is developed in Europe, and everyone says it looks very
What?
Japanese. So it's
What?
really kind of a funny worldwide experience.
It is
We see
funny.
a mobile game develop, and isn't it strange, the notion of gaining more control without using a controller?
We've seen really great strides lately in the graphics of games, and now I think we're going to start seeing even more strides in the user input and how you can convey what you want to have.
Yeah, this is gonna take off.
Even
I
though
see
What
everybody
amazing
using it.
graphics.
And our R&D
Watching a
department
window.
for some time.
Yeah.
It's still very early, and we're still figuring out
Bird poo
great new
bonus.
uses for the technology, and it's just going to get better from here, really.
Oh, Jesus.
And imagine our world of the
Yeah,
future,
the-
where
like,
we can play just how we like, with
the
individual
Kinect
style in a friendly group.
The
Came
current
out like
iPad
10
camera
years
is a
after
great
this?
piece of hardware that we
No.
are really excited about
Yeah.
getting into people's
No,
homes.
it wouldn't have been that long, would
All
it?
kinds
2010,
of
something
new
like
It was for
experiences
360.
come out of
Yeah.
it, and it's
Yeah.
this is
Kinect was
just the
like an
first time
honest
we see
effort,
happen.
though.
Yeah.
I'll give
We're
them
excited
that.
about this one, but
But then, like, when
we're
they really
excited
pushed
about
into the
future
Xbox
as well.
One one,
So
it
the
was
future
like,
gaming experiences.
Yeah, that was-
following the path that the iToy
that
has
was dumb.
created,
That'd have been like
taking the player
first
out
years
and
after
sitting
this, and
on
it
the
still
room and
sucked.
putting it
What?
into the game to
They had, like,
create a
Connect
true
games
mini game for
specifically.
everybody.
Yeah. That hardware ended up getting used in like hospitals for like MRI machines.
Yeah, a lot of people still use the Xbox One too.
Oh.
For, like industrial uses.
Yeah, boy!
I love bullshit like this.
Sony's new stupid box thing.
Yes!
Wow, that's awesome!
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Man, the first Matrix was really cool. The rest of them suck ass.
New way
The second one was cool.
It was okay.
Not good,
It was
but
fine.
cool.
It was fine.
And then the third one sucked.
as well as incorporated
Yeah.
into the experience of the movie.
This game was awesome though. The mixing of the FMV
tie-in.
with,
The boys
yeah.
had this very unique idea
was so
about
good.
the video game.
Oh, what?
They wanted
Really?
to make the video game.
They play clips of the movie and then you play that.
No,
scene
they
in the
recorded.
game?
This is
Ah.
all the original content for the game, with like new actors, and they had the agent.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Matrix is.
And it ties into the movie and
Yeah,
shit.
they created
It's
two new
crazy.
characters.
So they're
Or the Matrix first.
They're in the background in the
Okay,
first
Mr.
movie.
Joel Silver's explaining it right now.
Their idea from the beginning, which has never been done before.
It's never been done before.
Captain of the Osiris. We're going to attempt an emergency broadcast drop in the Matrix.
Sparks, I want the ship's guns online right now.
Command. First mention of the video game was that it was like
Oh,
a
yeah.
third movie. And it had this
Like,
whole
he's in the actual movie,
amazing,
right?
intricate story weaved
Yeah,
into the
all these
stories of
people
the
are.
movies.
There's like, none of the big stars.
Some of them are like,
Oh, I can't watch
no,
this.
but like the girl was in the background in the first one.
Oh, really?
Stories, not just.
Yeah, at one point, or maybe the second one, but
Yeah, I think
just
the second one makes
they were
more
like
sense.
background characters, and then they just turned them into their own characters. It's pretty cool.
The Wachowskis had a piece of story to tell that they didn't really have time for in a 2-hour movie, where they would have told it if they had a 3-hour movie, and we get to do it in the video game.
Get to your exits.
Well, that explains that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a scene from the movie.
What?
Yeah.
I was like, how are they gonna shoot all of this? They're gonna shoot 2, 3.
Jada Pinkett Smith? Oh, I didn't realize that was her.
Yeah.
Everybody has been able to work together to
They got
make
Morpheus.
the most incredible game you've ever played.
Larry and Andy insisted that the same, incredible kind of resources that are used on a film set were used for this video game footage. That meant that all the same equipment was used, the same
Wow.
film stock, with the same actors, all the same crew.
He
There were
bastard.
hundreds of people on this set, and they're working on a video game.
Wow, that's awesome.
Wu Ping and his crew were working on all the fight choreography of the movie. We're also doing all the fight choreography.
Oh, that's
of
why the fight choreography is so good.
Master Wu Ping
It is so
and
good.
his
You got Wu
team
Ping?
to take fight moves to another degree. It gives such an enormous variation to the player.
The fight moves we have are so much further beyond your standard kicks and punches that you've seen in the
goatee.
game. They're just sort of mind-blowing moves that Master Wu would choreograph.
Did you ever
for
play the
us.
Bourne
When you're playing this
Supremacy
video
game?
game, you're actually going to be playing
No.
his stunt
That,
actors
the
just
fighting in that one
delivering
reminds me of this one a lot.
three-dimensional
I should
fighting
play that. I'm
moves.
gonna see if that's on PC.
Oh,
actually.
damn.
I
Faked
think
it
it's
with
pretty cool.
some stunt people in Hollywood, but it just wouldn't have been the same.
In this game, we're trying to actually go from beginning to end so that the fight moves end up being unique and different almost every single time.
That's so.
Each character has hundreds more moves than the average fight game. 500-600 moves per character.
Hundreds of more moves.
Yeah.
On top of it all, the camera moves were directed by Larry and Andy, so that a cool action moment takes on that flair that it would in a
The
film.
controls weren't so bad in this game.
Usually
It'd be a
they'll
lot
stick the
better.
camera here and it'll attach to the guy's head and it'll follow him
They're
perfectly as he
rough.
moves, which isn't cinematic.
Because they wanted to make this more film-like, we had Larry and Andy actually directing the cameras that are in the gameplay, where they exist as characters walk around in the game. There's visual effects in the game, unique visual effects.
The visual effects we're doing for the game, we're treating no differently. They're done to the same level of quality, the same resolution, done by the same companies from the movie.
It's good to be home.
You're gonna see versions of shots that you'll find in the movie.
Was that from
sort
3?
of reworked from
like that was
Ghost
from 3.
and
I think
Niobe's
so.
point of view.
Would it have been with the
That's from
timing?
2, right?
$1 visual effects shots in games normally.
When did did this come out in like 3 or 4?
Ghost created
Oh, I
the
don't know.
distraction.
It was the
License
second.
games, if they're lucky, the character
fourth
looks
movie.
like the actor who was in the film, but
Oh.
usually they don't even
This
get
game
the
is
rights to use that
2003.
likeness.
You don't get an engaging performance,
Film.
and that's something that's entirely new.
Oh, yeah, 1 through 3.
Real actors giving real performances, real stories.
This mission is
Because they filmed
They
them
said
at the
it's-
same
Yeah.
time.
They said it's
Right.
like the 3rd movie, so this must be.
Yeah,
As soon
you're
as they
right.
show themselves.
It's gonna
Matrix
raise
Reloaded
bar
and The
for what
Matrix
people
Revolutions came
understand
out in
to
the
be a
same
fight
year.
game, in the same way that
Yeah.
That's
the Matrix
crazy. They would
film
never
raised
do
the bar
that
in
these
terms of what
days.
people saw as a fight sequence.
Are those? Is that 2 and 3?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
In May and
They must have
November.
They
just
filmed them
back
at the
to
same
back.
time.
That's
Yeah.
wild.
David Perry, who
They would have
was
stretched
their
this over like
personal
10
choice
years
for
if they did
designing
that.
the game, wanted to make a game that no one has ever seen.
Movie games are generally not as well received because the game isn't quite the experience of the movie.
Oh yeah, there's driving. This driving sucks. That's for sure.
Prided themselves
Oh,
on not
shit.
doing sequels or not doing licensed games.
When I saw what they did inside their script and the story just goes off, the rabbit hole effectively just starts going deeper. Then I really
Well, it makes your
Threw
reference,
all our
bro.
sort of corporate
Yeah.
philosophy out the window and went after this just because it's different than a license, you know.
That 4th movie was so bad.
We've
I
made
didn't
a
even
game
watch it.
that has exploration, it has shooting, it has
can't believe I
fighting,
did.
flying, driving, hacking.
And on top of that, you get the hour-long Matrix movie interspersed within the game that you can't see anywhere else.
I need to talk to Morpheus.
Believe me, Niobe, he needs you.
Where is he?
Just follow the sirens.
Let's go.
Larry and Andy actually decided which pieces are going to be dramatic and which pieces are going to be gameplay sections from a perspective of a gamer. They're doing it because they personally would love to sit down and play those sections of the game.
Destroy them.
You gotta see it. I mean, you gotta see it. When you
gotta see it.
and when
You gotta see
start
it.
punching those buttons, I mean, you'll see you can do things you've never done before.
Love punching buttons.
There's a lot of things revealed in our game that this is the only place you're going to find it out. There's also some glimpses of movie 3, which I think you'll find interesting.
The brothers made it clear that they viewed the game as not just a merchandising deal like you would do making a Matrix lunchbox, but they really thought of it as what's going to be the most fun for the gamer and what's going to be a really fun game to play.
Man, reality can be a bitch.
Tell me about it.
That is hot.
That's hot.
If we fail, Neo fails. So are you red or blue on this?
Oh, another Rising Sun?
It's time to go back to
It's a good
Sunnydale.
game.
We recently caught up with the team at Vivendi Universal to talk about their latest game, a secret episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Secret, man, all these secret episodes. You played this
It's
game,
chock
haven't
full of
you?
Slayer
Yeah,
goodness,
it's
and
genuinely
features all the best
very
known
good.
characters from the
Whoa!
TV series,
Legit.
as well as a cast of demons, or as they prefer to be called, undead Americans.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Chaos Bleeds, actually takes place in season 5. We wrote it as a lost episode.
And in this episode, Ethan Rain, an old friend of Giles and a worshiper of the two-faced deity
was so
Janus, wreaks a little havoc amongst
really
the
good.
Scoobies.
He likes to think of himself as a sort of chaos magician. Is very.
If you liked video games and Buffy back then, you would have loved it.
Yeah.
He basically strikes a
both those
deal
things.
with the first to set up a competition. And if Ethan manages to win the competition, the first will grant him all the powers of a Lord of Chaos. And if he loses, he'll wind up as, you know, some kind of like lickspittle somewhere in the depths of hell.
So he asks Ethan to choose 5 contestants for this contest, and of course Ethan chooses Buffy, chooses Willow, Spike, and Ethan also wanted to choose Oz,
execute the baby.
but Oz is off doing his thing with the werewolf, so he chooses Xander instead.
That's what the former
Just
president
another
said
day
in a
in the life
national
of the
debate
Scooby
last
Gang,
night.
sending another big bad to eternal damnation. But how do each of the gangs stack up?
They all have their own unique strengths and weaknesses. Personally, I like Faith. Just kind of does what she does and doesn't listen to what's right or wrong.
Come on.
Willow is obviously not the most physical of combatants. Her strength really lies in her use of magic. She can generate a miniature sun, which is fantastic for just frying all the vampires in the area. She can also create fireballs that she can send out homing after vampires and demons, which is another great way to get rid of those guys.
And Xander, not much of a fighter, so he utilizes a lot of different weapons.
Xander.
And baseball bats.
And lastly, but definitely not Sid, the demon hunter of ventriloquist dolls body. Sid, being that he's made of wood, has a certain amount of durability. He's also very small, which is actually the main useful feature of Sid in the game.
Damn, I gotta continue my playthrough.
No Slayer experience would be complete without a big box of death-dealing weapons, and Chaos Reign has enough pointy things to keep players busy for quite a while.
Well, seeing as it's a vampire slaying game, there's a heavy stake usage. There's also a host of other good ways of dispatching vampires. There's pool cues,
heavy
there's
stake
shovels,
usage. You can't play
there's
this game.
the water pistol, which
Not
can fire
vegan
holy
friendly.
Maybe it's
water,
the cauliflower
hellfire. You can throw these little vials, bottles of hellfire and holy water like grenades.
The hell is a cauliflower steak?
Swords.
If I'm in the middle of a battle
just
and
what it
I
sounds
don't
like.
have a steak, I can look at
It's
a
what,
chair, I can look at a
restaurants
wooden
throw on menus
table,
when they don't want
or
to
a
provide
signpost
vegan
and
food.
say, hey, if I walk up and kick that
Is it a
thing,
cauliflower
splinters from
cut
that,
like
I
a
can actually
steak,
pick
or
it
is
up
it
and
ground
use it.
cauliflower formed into a steak shape?
The Keg famously has one. That's like
And then
that
there's
was
the
like their
best
only
part, the
item for
cloud
a long
of dust
time.
that accompanies the death of a vamp.
Is it any good?
When
I've
you're
never
in
had it.
vampires, they dust.
Because I would never eat in the Keg anyway.
You get that hanging skeleton for a second and then
That's bad.
just collapse into a
So
a pile of
expensive.
dust.
And it sucks.
Staking the
you
vampires,
just gotta
that's the
try- I
core
wouldn't
of
say
his
it's
game.
Just regular ass
And it was
food.
real important for
It's
us to
fine.
get that just right, that satisfaction of driving a wooden stake.
But I also
to the
just ate
vampire's
2
chest.
cheeseburgers. And a handful of goldfish.
A game like this is the chance for the designer's kooky side to take control, but they have to stay true to the
side.
world of Buffy.
Yeah, I'd love to see that
Now,
kooky
led to
side.
some creative ideas.
When we set out to create the enemies for the game, obviously we were grounded in what has already been created for the show. And because this is an alternate dimension, a bleeding dimension, we were able to sort of expand upon that and come up with some pretty crazy things as well. For instance, in the Sunnydale Zoo, you'll be fighting zombie gorillas and zombie penguins and all sorts of...
I'll come down on them like an 800-pound gorilla.
Chimpanzees. Wonderful. What's next?
As you can hear, the voices in the game are downright spiffy, probably because most of them are actors from the show.
This is Spike Total Trigger Dialogue. 449.
Just nibble, huh?
The only difference between acting on the set and doing the voiceover for the video game is that in the video game, you just have to heighten it just a little bit.
Get your filthy paws off me. Or whatever those things are.
The way we do the acting on Buffy is very...
Is that a way to say he's
'cause
bad
that's
at
where
it?
the humor
Yeah,
can bounce
I don't
off.
know.
I was sucking blood when you were still nursing a bottle.
So what does the man who puts the human in Spike think of the game?
You don't have to pay the game character to keep fighting. Is the only difference between the game character and the character on the show. And it's not over after 48 minutes. You can keep playing, but otherwise it looks just like me. And I'm doing the voiceover, so it's going to sound like me.
Oh,
And
why are there
I think
aliens?
my black coat is even cooler in the
Why
game.
not?
There are aliens in Buffy?
Taking on such a popular show can be a challenge for game designers, but the team at Vivendi Universal has given this game their all.
First and foremost, the game has got to be great for Buffy fans and non-Buffy fans. I want this game to play great for the person who's never watched a Buffy episode. So it's a way to introduce them to the mythology and to the characters. So first and foremost, the game's accessible to everyone.
The writing in the show is fantastic. They managed to pack it full of drama, horror, and a huge amount of humor. It just helps create this whole feeling that this is a playable episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Is there anything worse than white people?
Dog.
Interesting. Can't be another
9/11.
documentary, right? Wow, another making of.
Damn. Part 2, weapons research. It's
Oh, sick.
gonna be them shooting a bunch of stuff.
That's cool.
It's gonna be them shooting a bunch of stuff.
That's cool.
It's gonna be them shooting a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I think they go to like Arizona or something. I don't know about that one.
After their extended trip throughout the Pacific Theater, the team's next stop was Arizona, where they were recording sounds of both Japanese and American machine guns.
We're in Wickenburg, Arizona. Arizona is one of the states in our great nation that will allow our Second Amendment rights. The fact that we can
Holy shit.
keep and bear arms, and we can come out to the desert out here where it's absolutely arid and no people are around, and we can fire what weapons we need to fire. This is the Lewis guy. This one happens to be in 30
So Arizona has some crazy-ass lax laws.
Why do they have to shoot that big hunk of meat?
Meat.
The weapon list is kind of varying
it's
based
cool,
on
man.
the suppliers that we have that can provide the weapons for us, but they encompass allied handguns, rifles,
that's awesome.
submachine guns, all the way up to a 50mm water-cooled machine gun. And we'll basically spend 2 days out in the desert with the audio team, as well as a guy that works on special effects for us, a couple of character guys, and some animation people.
That water-cooled machine gun was the same type used to fend off Japanese Zeros during the attack on Pearl Harbor.
That was a cool mission, but
This is really cool. This is the water-cooled 50 caliber that we're going to be using on the deck of the California for the Pearl Harbor level. Took a lot of phone calls to get this one on set, so we're really excited to be out here filming this stuff.
It's fucking crazy.
That is awesome. That is really cool.
Damn, boy!
Wait.
They also brought along 2 Japanese actors and some actual Marines who were dressed in period uniforms.
Those guys will be the ones firing the weapons, so when the animation team has to go back and
they never
choreograph
get to
that
shoot
scene,
them?
they can just look at this video footage
Nah.
that we took in Arizona.
I think it would be illegal.
At the same time,
I
the
don't think
character
so.
team will look at all the lights and everything.
Oh,
to
they
see
probably
how
With guns like that, you need a...
special effects guy will be able to see how
You can shoot
the
like a
muzzle blast
Thompson
will
in
appear
Las
and what the
Vegas.
recoil will look like, and the
Yeah, but that's
team will
with,
be able
like...
to get an exact
No, I guess, yeah, they could have just done the same there, I guess.
Yeah.
I think it's in certain spaces you can. With a certain ammunition or whatever the fuck.
Rifle caliber 30 M1 fires at a muzzle velocity of about 2,800 feet per second. There's a maximum effective range of
Supervising the entire operation was military consultant Captain Dale Dye.
I spent 21 years in the United States Marine Corps. When I retired from active
there you go.
service,
Yeah.
I was a tremendous movie fan, in particular war movies. And what I
Tremendous.
found was that what I was seeing was not what I experienced. It wasn't the real thing. So I made up my mind
You
that I
weren't
was
in
gonna
World
go
War
to
II.
Hollywood and fix that. And so my thought was that just as we do in
Yeah,
military
man, this guy's
training,
full
you
of
immerse
himself.
the person in the lifestyle of a combat infantryman, and then let him bring the truth to the screen. That was my theory.
Him?
Everyone in Hollywood said,
Wow.
well, that's not necessary. It's called acting.
Everyone in Hollywood.
Captain Dye went on to work with some of the biggest Hollywood directors.
Like?
He is famous.
Experiment with doing a first-person, really accurate
this guy's dead?
World War II video game.
I don't know.
Steven Spielberg and Tom Hanks and I were in England and Ireland doing Saving Private Ryan. Steven Spielberg is a bit of a video game nut himself, and he brought me down there and he said,
Brought us
listen,
boom
we are
blocks.
going to design
Yeah, he's still
from the
alive.
ground up a video game
79.
based on real-world World War II experiences.
I'm left-handed, never shot a gun right-handed before.
You never shot a what? Weapon. Sorry, weapon. Get over there. Just get down on your face.
Since the very beginning of the Medal of
What?
Honor series, Captain Dye has been taking his team through his infamous boot camp, and this game is no exception.
Oh,
Time out. Yell when you go.
With every
Bad
new
form.
crew
You're gonna hurt your
that works on
shoulders
the Medal
doing
of
it that
Honor
way.
franchise, it's been kind of a tradition.
Well, that's the last push-ups he ever did, so you don't have to worry about it.
A bit of what
Yeah.
4, 5,
Horrible form.
6, stop.
You just say, sir. Sir. And you say it after each count. Continue. I want them to understand. I think that's part of building the legacy of Medal of Honor. I want them to
just
suffer
being an
a little
asshole.
bit. Not even
Yeah, these are game developers,
No,
dude.
it's called building the legacy.
suffer. But I
No,
want
it's
them
called
to
strengthening
understand
our
what it
nation's
is to be a
military.
soldier,
Now when
and
those
then
boys get
bring
drafted,
that to the game.
Yeah.
they'll be stronger than they would be before.
Ultimately, it is the process of working with Captain Dye and several other military consultants that help bring the game to life.
It's really great working with each and every one of our historical/military consultants because they understand the subject matter that we're making a game that we can only go so far without.
He's back.
The fun factor. Going through
Never left.
We're not going to give the player muddy socks and gangrene and and malaria, right? But they try to fill us in on the feel of what's the historical significance of holding on to that island and the airstrip and the airfield. And to try and build that into our missions, it really makes a difference because even if 10% of people don't pay attention or even 80%, somebody in there is going to get that. And one of our big things is for both veterans and historical buffs to go, hey, that's exactly
Every time I watch these videos, I'm like, oh, I should play these games. They look good in these videos.
They're not worth playing.
They're not good.
They were good for the time, but like going back.
Well, even this one, I remember being like kind of middling.
Processes the
Like it's
EA team
fine.
has implemented that makes
It lacks
this
the
game worthy
spectacle
of the
that the
Medal of
first one
Honor
had.
franchise.
Yeah.
But it was fun co-op. It had a co-op mode for a single player.
This is my weapon.
Yeah.
This is my weapon. This is my gun. This is my
Is he
gun.
holding his dick?
One's for fighting.
This is for firing.
This is for fun.
This one's for fun. Very well.
Come on, it'll be fun.
I love bullshit like this.
Okay. What's in the playground? Wow, interesting.
What word even is that?
I didn't know they were making Warhammer games. PS2.
Whoa.
I'm excited to play this actually. Wow.
Subscribe.
I'll play those tomorrow.
We're gonna connect. Mr. Mosquito. Stud man.
Oh, sweet.
Where to find some
We'll have to
cool
come back to
vehicles.
this one tomorrow.